Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, April 14, 2024. Now before you jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the has been like here recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related questions that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that the entire Atlantic basin is still being dominated by a ridge of high pressure that's responsible for sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see that we still have that elongated trough stretching all the way from northern sections of the North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the Leeward Islands. We can also see another trough affecting portions of the Eastern Caribbean. And we can also see that blue spike line right here, stretching all the way from northern section of North Atlantic, all the way down into portions of the Turks and Caicos and eastern Cuba, associated with a cold front that's bringing more rainfall than anything else. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that trough still trailing and pushing from east-west, bringing some well-needed rainfall to sections of the northeastern Caribbean especially. We can also see the trough that's been affecting portions of Puerto Rico and the US and British Virgin Islands, not to mention some amount of clouds associated with that cold front, stretching all the way from northern section of North Atlantic all the way down to portions of the Turks and Caicos, the southern Bahamas and Cuba. You can also see that trough that has been affecting portions of Haiti and the Dominican Republic yesterday is now affecting portions of Jamaica. And if we actually take a look at what was predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Sunday, April 14, it was stated that we would have had some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some northern and eastern parishes. Then during the afternoon, across sections of some southern and western parishes in Jamaica. And just for reference, we know northern parishes we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. And southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening, as early as 8:01 a.m., we saw the visible satellite images posted on our Twitter page. Keep in mind that they're not only posted on our Twitter page, but our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook page. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make some other posts that are not made here on our YouTube platform. So it's at Weather Jamaica on Twitter, it's at weather.jamaica on Instagram, it's at Weather Jamaica on TikTok, and it's at Weather Jamaica 876 on Facebook. So we saw the visible satellite images posted at 8:01 a.m. on Sunday, showing clouds bringing some amount of overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of some northern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. We see that huge squall line of rainfall coming in from the east to affect sections of eastern St. Thomas and Portland. And we indeed had some confirmation of some amount of rainfall across especially St. James this morning from some of our followers. Even right here we see DB stating rain or fall when that post was made. Then we also see Jody underscore 187 confirming the rainfall in her area. Enough rain Portland. Then during the afternoon now, the visible satellite images were posted once again, and we are starting to see a flip. With instead of that rainfall across northern Jamaica, we're seeing more of that, well, not rainfall, cloud cover. We're seeing more of that cloud cover now across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica and still across eastern Jamaica. So Portland, St. Mary, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and even Westmoreland got in on that overcast skies, if not isolated shower activity. And we indeed have confirmation from some of our followers, even though it's a lot of comments, even too much to read. We have Tanya Hunter stating, yes, we're getting a nice shower here in St. Thomas. Cheryl Fisher, raining in Hope Pastures. I hope Portmore getting some. Thank you, Lord. We needed this. Manny stating, yes, getting it nicely in Southwest St. Elizabeth and Eastern Westmoreland. Adre underscore Trian Parisi stating, rain falling nicely today. Then we have Mikhail underscore Isachar underscore stating, bless and give thanks. The rain is here. Huerica underscore sugarcane, Portland getting it, Tracy and underscore Manning, raining hard in Westmoreland. And then finally, Sashika Queen Bee stating it is raining in Burnt Savannah, St. Elizabeth. I hope it continue. So that indeed confirms the rainfall on our Instagram page. Even on our YouTube page, somebody posted on yesterday's video. This is Rosie Granville 4788 stating there is rain up in Stony Hill. And if you even take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, if you don't know by now, we have a partnership with that channel. They actually show live streams of areas in Kingston, like Crossroads, Uptown Kingston, the Kingston Harbor, and even Halfway Tree. And we can see that at around 4:27 p.m. yes, we indeed have confirmation of that rainfall. Some cars with their windshield wipers on. Ground looks very soaked. It does indeed confirm that we had some amount of rainfall in the corporate area today. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see those clouds, not to mention those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the southeast to show that there was indeed some amount of convective activity taking place, maybe even some thunderstorm activity. And even before the sun went down, we see that we still had some more clouds coming in from the east. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we still see that we have a lot of cloud cover across the island tonight. We see those high cold cloud tops being blown out towards the southeast across sections of the southwestern part of the island, so St. Elizabeth. That indeed confirms the convection. Those blues and greys that represent some high cold cloud tops, maybe some cumulonimbus clouds. Not to mention those sparkling white dots that mean some amount of lightning flashes, if not lightning strikes, across southwestern Jamaica. And we see all of that pushed off towards the south of the island now. Either way, we're still in for some more rainfall tonight. The latest Cuban Doppler radar images confirm this. We can see some rainfall to the north and east of the island, that rainfall to the southwest of the island with those thunderstorms that we just saw on the satellite images. And we know the Doppler radar images actually confirm what we see on the satellite images. The greens and the yellows represent anywhere from light to moderate to even heavy rainfall. If we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, this does indeed paint quite the picture that we had that rainfall. Not as much as what is shown here, but definitely the location is spot on. So sections of northern and eastern Jamaica, sections of some southern parishes more than anything else. Westmoreland, well, Westmoreland should be shaded here, but not yet. So St. Elizabeth, section of Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, section of Kingston and St. Andrew got in on that rainfall. But as we noticed, it was more so in the way of some light rainfall for the most part, even although some areas like Portland, section of St. Thomas and Westmoreland didn't get in on that heavy rainfall. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 3 a.m. on Monday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Monday. When we calculate that, that's 1 p.m. on Monday. And we see Jamaica, for the most part, embedded in some grayish colors. And the grayish colors on the key on the right-hand corner are representative of average temperatures. So with more rainfall to come from this trough, more cloud cover, we're going to be getting in on more average temperatures than anything else. No above normal temperatures, especially considering that we're hardly going to be seeing the sun tomorrow. And we know the average temperatures for the month of April across Jamaica is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So anywhere across the island should be receiving 30 degrees Celsius, even cooler than that, especially where the rainfall is. As it relates to the dry air map, we can see that we have some amount of maybe moist air across sections of the northeastern Caribbean, sections of Jamaica right there. We see more so blues than anything else. You know, the dry air is represented by what we see on the key on the bottom, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, getting even more intense the more we go over to the red, and the whites within those reds. And we see that the driest air on this map is located right there off the coast of Africa, and all of that has to do with the Saharan dust. This map is showing the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, and we see that Jamaica should be in the clear right here, while all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across portions of the main development region, especially right there closer to Africa, where we have those darker shades of browns. As relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see anywhere from those lighter shades of blues to the darker shades of blues, anywhere from 0.5 meter wave heights to 1 meter wave heights, as we can see by the key on the bottom right. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all. We see more so in the way of bluish greens, so anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 to even 15 knot winds coming in from the northeast across the northern portion of the island, coming in more so from the east across the southern portion of the island. Either way, we see all of that air piling up across sections of some southern parishes. We see more so in the way of blues across southern parishes on Monday afternoon. So we can't rule out some amount of rainfall again across sections of some southern parishes on Monday afternoon. Maybe even some thunderstorm activity taking place, just like what we saw today. Even it might even be more robust than what we saw today across Jamaica. And with the upper level winds coming in from the west northwest, it's definitely going to be favoring more of that afternoon rainfall across sections of some southern parishes. You might be wondering what I'm talking about. So if we take a look right here, we saw that when these rain clouds were building and actually transformed themselves into thunderstorm clouds or cumulonimbus clouds across southwestern Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, we saw those high cold cloud tops being blown off towards the south and the east. And usually whichever side of the island that the high cold cloud tops are being blown off to, that's where most of that rainfall is located in most cases, especially if it has that lower level wind support. And we see that's what happened today. So with all of the air that's going to be piling up across southern Jamaica, it's definitely going to be bringing more, so we do have maybe some thunderstorm activity to sections of southern Jamaica again. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. That's actually 9 p.m. Jamaica time. And we see the blues that represent rainfall still affecting sections of the island, more so sections of St. Mary, Portland, and St. Thomas than anything else. Skipping ahead now to about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. We see the blues that represent rainfall still plaguing, especially the waters across the northern portions and eastern portions of the island, maybe even affecting some coastal areas of the northeast and the eastern portions of the island, so St. Mary, section of Portland, St. Thomas. Look out for that morning rainfall. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. We see the blues that represent rainfall still affecting sections of some northern and eastern parishes. So St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas getting in on the action. Euro model showing the same thing, but it's a bit more robust, incorporating some more central and western parishes. So we're just going to be looking for the consensus. Where do we see both maps showing sections of some northern and eastern parishes? Skipping ahead now to about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 11 a.m. Jamaica time. Where do we see the blues that represent rainfall? Across sections of most parishes. So definitely sections of Eastern Jamaica, Central Jamaica, Western Jamaica, especially sections of Central Jamaica getting in on that rainfall by 11 a.m. Then finally by 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Look at all of that rainfall, and it's mostly confined to sections of southern Jamaica, as we can see by this map from the GFS. Look at those darker shades of blues across sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. We're definitely going to be in for some amount of rainfall tomorrow. It could be something similar to what we got today. So instead of thinking that it's going to be in a way such as having clouds develop out of nothing, the clouds will possibly already be there from the morning. So something similar like this, spreading across the island from east to west or from northeast to southwest, especially affecting sections of some southern parishes during the afternoon. And we see the Euro a bit more robust, showing some greens in there, getting up in the intensity in terms of the rainfall across sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus with the rainfall that's predicted. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. Not saying that it's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the areas that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. And we can see the consensus with sections of eastern and southern Jamaica on both maps. Euro always a bit more robust than the GFS. Euro showing up to 1.25 inches of rainfall across sections of the southern portion of the islands, the section of Manchester spilling into St. Elizabeth, up to 0.82 of an inch of rainfall across eastern Jamaica, that area where Kingston is located. GFS showing something similar in terms of the location, so 0.48 of an inch of rainfall across that area, across Manchester and St. Elizabeth, up to 0.42 of an inch of rainfall across Kingston, up to 0.75 of an inch of rainfall across sections of Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of April. We're starting to see that increase in the rainfall that we usually experience for the month. We usually receive up to 114.75 millimeters of rainfall during this month. That's almost 5 inches of rainfall. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put some kind of a dent in the drought that some areas are currently experiencing. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we still have some amount of clouds coming in, all courtesy of the trough, to sections of the Leeward Islands, spilling into sections of the Greater Antilles, not to mention sections of Central America right there, Nicaragua, sections of northeastern South America, even sections of the Windward Islands getting in on the action, especially tomorrow, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Suriname and French Guyana. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean right now, this does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall today. So definitely, even right now, we're still getting in on that rainfall. So this is from about 1:30 p.m. today, and we saw that section of Puerto Rico we're getting in on that rainfall. The US and British Virgin Islands, sections of Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, and there is still a lot more rainfall to go around even as we speak. Look at this latest image right here as of 7:25 p.m. and it's 7:28 p.m. right now, and we're still getting in on some amount of isolated shower activity across some spots. Sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, US and British Virgin Islands, sections of Puerto Rico still getting in on some amount of rainfall, all courtesy of that trough. As it relates to the Barbados radar, we can see that rainfall that we just saw on the satellite images to the south of the island, heading into sections of Trinidad and Tobago, maybe even sections of Grenada might get in on the action too. Sections of St. Vincent definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall as we speak, not to mention sections of Martinique and Dominica. As it relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall that we just mentioned heading into sections of Nicaragua on the satellite images, not to mention that rainfall heading into sections of French Guyana right there. As it relates to the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we see a mixture of grays and yellows to oranges that represent average to above normal temperatures for majority of the Caribbean for tomorrow, while the reds that represent way above normal temperatures should be plaguing sections of the United States, Central America and Northern South America. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, we see that majority of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico should be in the clear, as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across the main development region, especially that area closer to Africa, where we have those darker shades of browns that indicate that vigorous plume that would, cause hazy skies and trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some people. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that majority of the Caribbean should be getting a mixture of anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height up to 2 meter wave heights, especially across the Eastern Caribbean is where the wave height should be the highest. And that's because the winds are coming in from the east for the most part, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knots, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots. As it relates to the rainfall forecast now, we're looking at these maps and we're looking for where we see the rainfall on both maps within the next 24 hours. And we see that there's definitely some rainfall in the forecast, all courtesy of the cold front and the troughs that are plaguing sections of the Caribbean. So definitely a section of the southern Bahamas still to get some more rainfall, the Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, sections of the northeastern Caribbean, the Leeward Islands. So Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts, St. Martin, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique getting in on the action as well. Looking southward, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Grenada, as well as sections of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and even sections of southern and eastern Belize right there. Even Guatemala might get in on some of that isolated shower activity. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.